Is everyone excited for the amazing school year to start?
Honestly, not really.
Ooh, why
Like
so?
it's like it's so sad
Thank you
that
for
we
being honest.
Yeah,
You
I
read
get that. I
my
get
mind.
that.
have
Yeah. Okay, so today we are going over the Membership Update Center and dues increase. My name is Isa Allison, and I serve as your district treasurer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela Aguas, and I'm currently serving as the Florida District Secretary. So, first, we're going to talk about a very hot topic right now in Key Club, which is the Key Club International dues increase. So, what is the dues increase? So, as some of you may already know by the emails we've sent, at the Key Club International Convention that we had back in July, an amendment was made to our bylaws, which was voted on in a consensus of delegates that we had at House of Delegates there. And this said that we would be increasing dues by $3, making it to $10 in for international dues. So why was there a dues increase? So this was passed to deal with the deficit we had of $123,405 of Key Club International, which would later increase to over $350,000 because of the insurance fee that Kiwanis International is passing. So this was necessary for Key Club International to keep running smoothly and for us to still have an organization to serve. Because obviously, with budget problems, just like inflation and everything, we needed to also raise our dues to match up with inflation. So the dues breakdown from last year. So the Florida district got $7 and Key Club International got $7 as well, which totaled up to $14. However, individual clubs can increase their dues in the club bylaws with a two-third vote from its members. And Key Club International and the Florida District of Key Club can do a similar process to increase dues at Decon and Icon. So you always need to make sure that you have a consensus, whether it is to add a service fee or to add the club t-shirt fee to the dues, then you would have to have a vote for that. So now moving on from last year, because of the amendment that was passed, the dues breakdown for this year obviously looks a little bit different. So the Florida district would still be getting $7. However, Key Club International increased by $3, making it 10. So every single member, in order to be part of Key Club, would have to pay $17. So the Florida district dues are maintained at $7 per member because we are in a healthy and financially stable state. But if this state changes in the future, then the Board of Trustees would at the time inform the district. However, right now we're not having that issue. So we only had to increase it for Key Club International. So how can we prepare for the $3 dues increase? So the first step to preparing for this increase is to take a look at your club's dues breakdown. If your club dues are above $17 because of, for example, service projects that you may need to buy materials for t-shirts or anything else that your club might think of that you need money for, you may be able to work with your club officers to avoid increasing dues altogether. So after adjusting your dues breakdown from last year and making it more suitable for this year, so for example, if last year you paid $25 to have your t-shirt as well, then you would have to pay $28 because you would always have to add that $3 increase. And this will help you better understand what your club needs to do or fundraise for in order to be able to pay the dues. So t-shirts. If your club usually adds t-shirt prices to membership fees, you may want to consider separating the two if you know that members at your school will not be able to deal with the dues amount. So you can have the $17 at the start of the year, and then a month later you can ask for the t-shirt fee. And this will allow people, if they're having any financial issues, to get that extra money in that month that you're giving them in order for them to pay the shirts, since either way the priority is to be able to be a member. So the t-shirts can come after. And it's also a good idea to reach out to different t-shirt companies to find better pricing or deals for your club to purchase shirts in general. So maybe a student in your club may have a connection. For example, in my school, one of the girls in my school, her mom works with a t-shirt company, so we get really good discounts on that. So maybe you can ask around and see if you have any connections in your school that could help out with that. So then another thing that we hear a lot is to talk to our sponsoring Kiwanis Club. So knowing that your club may struggle with the dues increase, it's a great idea to reach out to your Kiwanis advisor and ask if you could attend a meeting to address the dues increase. However, instead of just like going to them and asking to get money for your club, try to go a step further, because I'm sure you wouldn't go to a random person and say, "Hey, can I take your money? Like, I need it." Obviously, you're not going to do that. So you need to begin a relationship with your Kiwanis Club, like starting now, so that eventually you can kind of bring up like, "Hey, I need your money," but at least they'll be a little bit closer with you. Like, for example, my sponsoring Kiwanis has a toy drive every December, and my school has been going for a really long time. So they were nice enough to donate us $400 to our school for our key club, and we were able to get that for our dues. So just try to build a relationship with them. They're all really great people and they've been around in Key Club for a long time. So that's also networking opportunities, since I know a lot of us are seniors and we want internships. A lot of them have cool jobs like real estate or like lawyers. So you can obviously build that connection with them as well while still getting the help that you need. So another amazing idea is fundraisers. An amazing way to offset the dues is to do fundraisers targeted towards members as a whole, or only those who cannot financially support the increase, because obviously some members need it more than others. For example, my parents, like, they don't like really care that I pay dues, but other people's parents, they're like, "Okay, you're in too many clubs. You're gonna have to find a way to pay that yourself." So definitely having fundraisers, and every $3 that you raise by your club is one member who won't have to deal with the increase. So some simple fundraisers to start the year off, before submitting dues would be bake sales. I know my school did one every single Wednesday, and we talked to our activities director and we got that done. And we had things that people like, for example, pizza. And then you can share nights at popular local restaurants or food chains. For example, Chipotle has one. Panera Bread, Diced. Those are just a few that have the how could you say, like, the fundraisers that you get. I think it's 10% of the earnings. So you can have someone go, and as people like walk into the store, you can say, "Hi, can you please use your code?" And then scratch offs if your school allows that. Double Good Popcorn is a website that allows you to sell popcorn to family members, for example, and you get a percent of the earnings. Car washes or more. Also reaching out to businesses like Publix, which is something that a lot of people don't know about, but Publix, I think, is only in Florida and in a few other states, and a lot of companies get tax. This is tax deductible for a lot of companies when they donate to certain nonprofits or they donate money in general. So it's a win-win because you would be getting money and they would pay less taxes. So definitely go to a Publix, for example, and ask for the manager. don't just like try calling, go and have a proposed plan, what you're going to use the money for, explain what Key Club is and all the good things we do, and hopefully they give some type of donation. And more fundraisers can be found in the website below. So if you just search up Kiwanis fundraising ideas, there's an entire website with a bunch of creative ideas that a lot of people wouldn't usually think of. So does anyone have any questions about the dues increase or fundraising? Okay, well, if you have any questions, you can also type them in the chat as we go, and then when we're done presenting each part, we can go in the chat and answer your questions. So now Treasurer Isa is gonna start talking about dues in detail.
Alrighty, so for before I go into detail, the fundraising ideas that Danielle mentioned earlier, I sent the link to where you can find more ideas in the chat, so go ahead and check that out. And on to dues in detail. For that quick question from Zoe, we will be posting this PowerPoint on the website, and I'm recording the meeting so that we can send it out to you guys later on as well. Why do clubs pay dues? Clubs pay dues to be a part of Key Club International officially and to be in good standings with Key Club International. So to be a member of Key Club, you have to pay dues to Key Club International and your respective districts. This makes you eligible for scholarships, awards, grants, participation in the district conference, the international convention, and so much more. But a good and better question is, where exactly do club dues go? So in the districts versus international dues breakdown, we have in our district dues, training our board members, traveling for board meetings, services for clubs, our Florida Opportunity Fund grant, general expenses for not necessarily decon, but any expenses our district makes in general, decon itself, the endowment fund, which gives our members scholarships. Then international dues focuses on promotional materials, the pin and member award cards, awards, the youth opportunity fund, which is like our FLOF grant, but on an international level, the international convention, and the upkeep of Key Club International. How much are dues? So as we talked about earlier, with the passing of the international dues amendment, the dues increased from 7 internationally to 10. So the total that each club has to pay at a bare minimum is $17. How do you pay dues? So to pay dues, you have to use the Membership Update Center, which is something your advisor has access to if your advisor isn't a new sponsor. And if you don't have access to that, then you have to reach out to member services at Kiwanis.org. So the Membership Update Center is used to input and update paid members. The president, secretary, and treasurer have access to the Membership Update Center. The treasurer and secretary usually work together to update it and do all the functions within it. And once the updates are complete, you can print the invoice and give it to the school bookkeeper, or pay with a credit card, which opens on September 4th. All information on dues can be found at our website. If you go to floridakeyclub.org/dues, I can send a link to that later if you can't find it. To go more in depth on that, steps to pay dues exactly. So first off, you go to the floridakeyclub.org/dues website mentioned before, and you click on the Membership Update Center in the top of the dues page, which will take you to this amazing website here. That's where your advisor should sign in. And once your advisor does sign in, which you can either use their information or they can sign in themselves if they don't want to give you information, understandably. And you go to Kiwanis Reporting. And if you want more information on that, see the Creating a Buck Account tab at the bottom of the dues website if your club did not pay dues last year, making them inactive, or if you're a new club and you don't have a Membership Update Center tab yet. After you logged in, enter the club president, secretary, and treasurer's information at the bottom right, and designate them as such by going to the dashboard tab. This will allow the president, secretary, and treasurer to log into the Membership Update Center without using your advisor's information. And then the secretary, president, treasurer can log in with their own email, access the members tab, and add or edit the information for all members. So deleting graduated seniors, for example. So where the club secretary can add, delete, or revise members, and always delete seniors from the previous year because they're no longer members of your club. So you'll be paying for them for no reason, no wasting money. You can use the graduation year drop-down box to delete seniors easier by just doing 23-24 for this year. Information for each member once you go to add new member for each new member of your club that is required is their first name, last name, city, state, country, graduation year, okay, well, and country. Graduation year and email aren't required, but they should be included as well. So that's way you know how many of your members are seniors. You have an email to reach out to them, and they have an email that can be used by Key Club International to reach out to them. Once your club's membership is completely updated, you print the invoice by going to the Finance tab and mail in a check or submit a payment online by credit card. Not all members must be paid for at one time. You can generate multiple invoices throughout the year and pay for members as they join the club. When ready, clubs can either pay by credit card, which is only available immediately after you get the invoice, pay by check by sending it to the Key Club International office at Kiwanis International, the PO Box 6069, Department 112, Indianapolis, Indiana 46206. The club treasurer should submit the invoice with the advisor to the school bookkeeper in order to get a check written. Early bird dues. So in order to get the early bird dues patch at DCON, you have to submit dues to the Key Club International by November 1st. The pros of this: you don't have to worry about it during fall/winter break, and you won't have to worry about if the check arrives before it's too late. Your club will also receive an amazing banner patch at DCON, and even more importantly, for my treasurers there, you get extra points towards the Distinguished Club Treasurer Award. If you pay dues by the final deadline of December 1st, if the check does not or check or credit card does not arrive in time, dues will be considered late, and you'll have to worry during fall break if the check will arrive. You will not receive a banner patch, and there's less points for your club treasurer towards a Distinguished Treasurer Award.
So, some important reminders about dues. You can always add and pay for new members throughout the school year. So, something that my school did, I know I refer a lot back to my school, but we have a pretty good club. That's why I keep talking about it. So, something that we do is we send the officers' dues first as soon as the year starts so that we already have the early bird dues patch guaranteed because we already sent our dues in. And then we worry about all the other members, and we have until December 1st to do that. So if your school is really worried about getting the early bird dues patch, which obviously looks good, then you can just worry about the officers because obviously the officers are a lot more motivated and they go to a lot more meetings. So just say, hey, can you pay in our first meeting? And just send that over and then worry about the rest of them. And then to be in good standing, your club must have at least that number. It's not that you'll lose your charter. Your club just won't be in good standing like ones that have like 50 members. And early bird dues is what we want to see. That's something that we can brag about to other districts. So the early bird dues time is by November 1st. Same thing goes for December 1st. Try to send the check 20 days before. I know a lot of clubs get comfortable and they decide to send the check on December 1st. The check isn't going to get there until December 21st, and your dues are going to be late. So just try your best to send it 20 days before. So then there's no excuse for getting late. So this is a timeline that you can follow in order to get your due late August. You can try to hold your first meeting and inform members of dues and requirements. So you can start introducing dues, telling them that it's $17 and that obviously it's a pretty hefty price, but you can show the benefits of Key Club. For example, a lot of schools do Club Rush and they have boards at Club Rush, and you can put in pictures of fun events that you've had and just kind of explain what Key Club does and what the benefits are. Because obviously everyone does things for the benefit of it. That's just how we are. If you're not going to join something because you don't care. You're gonna join because you saw something good in it. So make sure that people look at Key Club and they're like, wow, I want to join that club. Also, some schools let members pay upfront during Club Rush, so they can already have the $17, and then they're allowed to ring the bell during Club Rush, so it's kind of like an initiation moment. So I could just be an idea. Yeah, and then during the month of September, you can remind potential members about applications. So if you see any freshmen that looks interested or someone that you know, you can start asking them for their phone number, email, graduation year, things to already start putting them into the membership update center. Then by the third week of September, try to hold your second meeting and collect that application with the members' information and dues. Please try to have some sort of way to organize your information, because otherwise you're going to be chasing down members throughout your entire school. Like, hey, what's your phone number? Just try to have it organized, have some type of Excel sheet. Let them join a group chat, send the Excel sheet there, and then they can put in all their information. And that makes your life easier. And then by the fourth week, try to finalize the club roster on the membership update center. So dues can start being paid directly after Labor Day on September 2nd. So on October 1st, update the membership update center. October 4th, generate membership update center invoice. Then October 6th, contact the bookkeeper or treasurer. I don't know what your school calls it. By October 10th, send the check or pay by credit card. And then by October 15th, check with the bookkeeper to see if the check cleared and it was allowed through. Obviously, you don't have to follow this day by day because I know we all have issues or, you just weren't able to send that day. But this is kind of just like a timeline to follow in general. These are all the steps you have to go through. Obviously, not all of them. Like maybe your school doesn't need you to contact the bookkeeper. But these are just like general steps that you can follow so that you have them in on time.
Okay, so earlier in the presentation, I mentioned how like our dues for our Florida district go towards FLOF, and then the international dues go towards YOF. So YOF, or the Youth Opportunities Fund, is a grant from Key Club International that gives between $100 to $2,000 for service projects. That information can be found on the Key Club International website at Youth Opportunities Fund on the website, and the money must be spent within 12 months of receiving the grant. There's two different application cycles. First one is due October 15th. The second is due March 1st. The decision comes out 1 month exactly after the due date of that respective application cycle. The more accessible one is FLOF, the Florida Opportunity Fund. So we give up to 2/3 of the total service project amount, which means the school has to provide 1/3 of the service project amount, up to $1,000 or capped at 2/3 of the total project cost. To get the FLOF grant, you have to fill out a FLOF application, which is found on our website at florkeyclub.org/FLOF and YOF, and the club needs to be in good standing to receive the grant.
Also, you'd be surprised at the amount of applications we actually get. We don't get many, and a lot of the money we don't even use. So if your club has some type of creative project that you've been wanting to do, I know a lot of schools in Florida like to be outstanding and they want to build a playground or they want to do something like that, but they don't have the money. This is a great opportunity and you'll most likely get the FLOF because nobody applies for it. So
Yeah.
that's just the truth behind it, and it's more beneficial for you because you are basically guaranteed to get it as long as you give a good description of what you're trying to do and really show that you're motivated and that you plan on using the money for something good.
And then yeah, like going like more on the FLOF thing, it's really like be as creative as possible and try to always make sure your service project can actually impact things. We know your service projects do that, so why not expand your impact by applying for FLOF, applying for YOF, and making your service even better. So important dates to think about is that you can start the dues process on Labor Day in the membership of the center after Labor Day on September 4th. The early bird dues deadline is on November 1st. Each club that submits it gets the awesome banner patch at TCON. A first-time late notice is sent to the Key Club president and advisor on December 31st because late dues or regular dues is due December 1st. A late notice is sent to the sponsoring Kiwanis Club on January 31st. A club is suspended if dues are not paid or received by February 1st. A notice is sent to the school principal if dues are not received by February 15th. And then a club is considered inactive if they have not paid dues by October 1st the following year. A reactivation fee of $100 and the year's dues must be paid to consider it active. So make sure you always get dues in on time, and that's why shooting for early bird dues is going to help you more than you think because you won't have to risk paying $100 or being suspended from Key Club International. Thank you guys for listening. And before we end this, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to unmute or put something in the chat, raise your hand, anything at all. We're open books.
Or if some of you would like, well, you kind of like don't have an option because I want to hear some of your fundraising ideas that your club may have done that we didn't mention. Because I know some clubs get really creative, so this would be really helpful for other clubs when it comes to paying dues or just in general to get money for decon. So if some of you can unmute yourselves and just give some ideas, that would be great.
I'll quickly start off if no one else has anything yet. Oh wait, no, Gabby does. Awesome.
Okay, hello everyone. So something really cool that my club did was that we sold the world's finest chocolate, those $1 chocolate. And what we did is that we gave a bunch of boxes to like all of our members, and we kind of made it into a fun competition. So whoever like sold the most boxes of chocolate, they got like a $70 gift card, which is kind of cool to kind of as a good incentive to kind of force them to kind of sell them quickly. And we made a lot of money from it, so I definitely recommend doing that.
That's awesome. Anyone else? You can also ask us questions about anything in the presentation, anything about the membership update center, any issues you're having with that, any questions about Key Club International, our positions, anything.
Isa, why don't you give your fundraising idea?
Oh yeah. Okay. So my school and my club, we had this amazing idea that I came up with where we did Kona Ice fundraisers like every other week. And it was during like the colder months, but by the people of my school love Kona Ice because like who doesn't love an icy treat, even if it is winter? And it gave us so much easy money to pay for decon and allowed us to get an extra two members than we had the previous year to be able to actually attend. So reaching out to Kona Ice, because Kona Ice, I believe, does go through the entirety of Florida, would be an easy way to just approve it with your school officials, get them in on some day every single week or every other week, make it consistent, and you'll easily rake in money because you can always get that on announcements, and that's free money for your club. Make sure you do it before any other school club tries to take that idea. So, yeah.
Something my school did was we had bake sales, but we didn't always do them after school. Something that got us a lot more money was asking our principal to have bake sales at bigger events that our school does. For example, we have a winter fest where we have the chorus singing. We have arts expose, which our club like shows the art that the students do. So if you have bigger events like that, or maybe football games, my school doesn't have sports, but I know a lot do. So if you can ask your principal to allow you to have a bake sale there, that I think that would get you a lot of money. And also people recently have been hyping up Chipotle a lot, which like I don't think happened before, but I know a lot of people like Chipotle. So having the Chipotle fundraiser also got us a lot of money, and you can announce it throughout the whole school, not only for the Key Club members. And people can go and buy and you get a percentage from that. So those were two fundraisers that we had that worked really, as well as the world's finest chocolate, which I know is a little bit expensive now, but there's different chocolate brands, sorry, that cost a little bit less, and you can also sell those. So just try to go for something that costs less for your club and you're getting a better outcome from it.
Then like all the other restaurants like Raising Cane's, really a lot of options here. But I mean, does anyone have any other ideas they'd like to share that their club does or like they've thought about anything?
my school, every Thursday for like a whole month, we get like Hungry Howie pizzas and a bunch of sodas, and we would like put it near the gate after school where everyone leaves, and we'd sell it. And since my school's a K through 12, we made a whole bunch of money because apparently everyone's really hungry after school.
Awesome idea. Oh, I got a DM from someone, so I won't say their name, but the average cost to attend decon per person is 350.
My
if you're
school,
not sorry. So average cost to attend decon is 350 per person if you're doing the quad rate, and that's not including travel fees. So 360, sorry, but that's not including travel fees. So keep that in mind. You can go now.
Whoever was trying to speak, you can speak now. It's just that Issa has really bad Wi-Fi. He lives like in the woods of Florida, so he
My
probably
bad.
didn't hear. But you can speak now.
oh, it's all right, no problem. I just want to say that my school also implements a similar strategy for fundraising, the same as the last person who shared. We also sell pizzas at the end of school at Flanagan High School. I just thought it was an interesting thing. That was pretty cool.
Does anyone else have any ideas to share with everyone?
Yeah, so for my school, we plan for open house to have a Kona Ice. And also we plan to sell cotton candy at football games and to host our first movie night at our football field. So
Oh, also something else that we did was that at one of our school events, we had a pie in the face and we used the teachers for it. So if you know a teacher that people don't really like, then you can get them and you can ask them to do the pie in the face. And I think a lot of people would pay for that. Or a dunk tank, which I know costs a little more, but like my school had a dunk tank for one of the events. So we got like either the teachers that people really like to bother or the ones that they didn't like, and we made a lot of money from that. So that's like a fun idea that you guys can do. But I recommend the pie in the face more because you don't have to pay. You just pay for the pie, not the dunk tank, which is like a lot of money. So yeah, any other ideas? Sydney?
We did this for another club that I was in, but when it got cold, like during the winter season, even though it doesn't really get cold here, but we sold like hot chocolate with like little candy canes inside of it and like just like beverages.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome because like you can always do like holiday themed or like seasonally themed things like a Winter Wonderland movie night or like anything like that. This is a great way to make money.
Yeah, also holiday grams was something else that a lot of people do. So you can have maybe like the hot chocolate, you can have like candy canes in it, some type of like Christmas stuffed animal, things like that. I know they're a little bit more on the expensive side because you have to buy the items. You can buy them off of like Temu, which is cheap. People won't know where it's from. They'll just like want like the little package to give to their friend. So just you can order from like cheaper places like that or like AliExpress, places that give like mass amount of products for cheap. And you can use that for the grams. And then somebody in the chat mentioned the Double Good popcorn fundraiser, which I mentioned earlier in the presentation. But they made a total of $14,000, which is a lot of money, and they only get 50%, but so they made $7,000. The popcorn is a little expensive. I think it's around $12 because I did it for an organization that I work for as well. But once you find the right people that are interested in your cause, you can definitely make a lot of money from it. And a lot of you can also repost it on your Instagram. I know a lot of people have a lot of followers, so you can get those people to repost it and just keep reposting it throughout the months that you're having the fundraiser to see if anyone would like to donate. Is
Then
there
like
anyone else?
oh,
Yeah, Isa.
and then like more on candy grams, you don't have to always get the seasonal candy. You just get whatever cheap candy. And then whenever they hear candy grams, they'll want to buy it anyway because it's like send a funny message, maybe make the messenger read it, anything like that. But yeah.
Yeah, and that works really well if you go to a 6 through 12 school. Mine is 6 through 12, and like all the little kids fall for every single fundraiser we do. So, like if they hear candy, they want candy. If they want like they just like want everything. So that definitely works better if like you have smaller people in your school. Is there anyone else?
I know
Or any,
that
you can go.
sorry. I know at my sister's school they did a fundraiser for Decon where they babysat children at the school and they gave kind of parents like a date night and it helped them a lot. I think
Yeah,
they
that's
raised
I think that a lot of seasonal things work really well. For example, trunk or treat. I know a lot of schools do that. Or Christmas themed things. People get really in the spirit when it comes to like the holidays and Halloween. So definitely take advantage of those holidays and try to get people's money. Also, Valentine's Day is a big one. So just take advantage of those to try to help out your club. Is there anyone else?
Like any final questions that you guys want to ask us, you can always reach out to our emails like secretary@floridakeylove.org and treasurer@floridakeylove.org as well. But it's a lot easier to talk to people, for me at least, instead of like sending a lot of emails. I do that every day. So feel free to unmute, private message me, say something in the group chat before we end the meeting. But yeah.
Okay, so if nobody else has any questions, then we're pretty much done with this webinar. But remember that you can always email us and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And you can always refer to the Key Club website because there are a lot of resources on there about membership, about dues, and the tabs are pretty organized, so it's not difficult to find either. But yeah, you guys are free to go. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you in future webinars.
Then like if you're gonna like officially end it before you guys, if you guys want to like ask a question after you leave, do that as well. I'll stay for a bit. But yeah. Have a great night, everyone who's leaving. But they're gone. Okay, yeah. Do any of you guys have any questions for Chance? Thank you, you too.
No. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye,
everyone.
guys.
Bye.
Do any of you guys have any questions or comments, concerns, anything? I guess not.